My name is Ngọc Tuyền from Group 4. Today we will present the chapter 7, Group Influence on Consumer Behavior, and this is our group members. So in this chapter, we will cover 6 learning outcomes, including explain reference groups and the criteria used to classify them, discuss consumption subcultures, including brand and online communities and their importance for marketing, summarize the type and the degree of reference group influence, discuss within group and communication and the importance of word of mouth communication to marketers, and understand opinion leaders, both online and offline, and their importance to marketers. And the last one is discussing innovation diffusion and the use and innovation analysis to develop marketing strategies. And our first learning outcome will be presented by Hugh.
The first learning object is the type of groups. It is including, as you can see here, are including 5 types. Primary groups are basically the set of the people whom you meet every day. They can be from your family, your close friend, and your roommates. And the second group is the secondary groups. The secondary reference group are usually formal and they speak less frequently. They might be professional, your college, your senior at work, or your acquaintance at a club. Let's have a look at a few more different groups. Uh, Aspirational groups is the one to which a person who may want to become a part of. They currently are not a part of that group, but wish to to get with that group. And dissociative group, the people in this group are totally opposite to the people in the aspirational group. Here, people deny becoming or getting connected to a particular group. They just hate being related to that group. And the family of the consumers play an important role in the decision-making process. The parents, sleeping relative, all have their own views about a particular purchase. And the next link object will be represented.
So hi, after learning who is me, we'll take over the next part, which is consumption as a culture. So for the consumption to have a strong influence on the consumer needs to identify with the percept that they belong to the subculture. So this influence is quite significant. If the consumer regularly interacts with other those communities as the subculture's lifestyle, value, expected behaviors are frequently reinforced. And so because they will have some unique behavior and character, this means that the subcultures can be used for the market segmentation purpose, become the target markets, and for the purpose of developing the suitable market strategies. So like this, we have gender, age, country background, religious belief, sexual preference. It's the whole thing different with gender, social class, and the geographic location. So imagine having the consumer continue to engage with you beyond your products. It is the sign of the loyal brand community, and some of the most successful businesses are strong because of it. Building a great brand community can be done in 3 steps. First, you need to captivating the reason for the member to join. Secondly, you need to make it worth their time to engage with each other, with your friend. And finally, it has to be easy to value the members, to share your community with others and help to grow. So once you have all 3 steps working together, you got yourself a brand community. And who rarely use your product or service, that you can really reach out with this group. You can test the new product, mock up as about the feature release, share the blog contents, and collect the general feedback for improvement. So this is for example from our book. So because of the community can help your brand to make the consumer driven decision and spread the word about your business. Make sure that you building a strong community that thrive and reward your community member. So now Loom will do the next part. So yeah.
Thanks to Thuận about his presentation about brand community. Now I'm going to continue up with the online communities and social networks. So the first question is, what is an online community? So an online community is a community that interacts over time around a topic of interest on the internet. These groups develop unique vocabularies, etiquette, and means for dealing with behaviors deemed inappropriate. And as you can see here, most representative example is the websites of OMO, where the enjoyers, the followers, will spend their time interacting with each other on this blog and trying to share their stories as well as discuss about things that they share at some interest. And with the most recent and ongoing evolution relating to online communities, we have the online social network site. An online social network site is a web-based service that allows individuals to construct a public or semi-public profile within about a system. Articulate a list of all the users with whom they share a connection, and will traverse the list of connection and those made by others within the system. The reason why marketers find online marketing so attractive is listed in this four bullet points. But aside from their attractiveness, in order to make get out the most function, make it the most effective in online community, the marketers have to follow these three short guiding principles. But first, they have to be transparent. Together, they have to be a part of the community, as well as they have to take advantage of the unique capabilities of each venue. Following up, we will move to learning objective 3 about the reference groups influences on the consumption process. And as you can see in this figure, there are 3 types of basic influences between groups. The first one, as you can see here, we have the presence of informational influence, which occurs when an individual uses the behaviors and options of reference group members as potentially useful bits of information. Next, we have the normative influence, which sometimes referred to as utilitarian influence, occurs when an individual fulfills group's expectation to gain a direct reward or to avoid a section. Lastly, we have identification influence, also called the value expressive influence, occurs when individuals have internalized the group's values and norms. So that's the end of my presentation. Following up, Tuyền will present about the degree of reference groups influence.
Hello, my name is Ngọc Tuyền. So now I will continue to present the next part of chapter 7, that is the degree of reference group influence. So, reference group affect the consumption or usage of the type of product or the brands, but they still have no effect on some particular situation. As you can see in the table, group influence is strongest when the use of product or brand is visible to the group. Reference group influence is stronger in the items that have less necessity. Moving to the next part, that is marketing strategies based on reference group influence. There are 2 sections in this part that we will analyze. That is personal sales strategies and advertising strategies. Personal sales strategies talk about the arch phenomenon. Imagine when a boy goes shopping with a group of friends. At first, he may see a pair of sneakers is not very attractive at all. But then one of the items, one of their friends pick that sneaker and say, "The design is awesome and fashionable," and then most of the group agree with that. And that boy will soon think again and maybe agree that he loved that sneaker. He did it because of being agreed by his group, and he also assumed that the other people of his group know more about fashion than he do. In this way, by using the first person as a model in marketing strategies, and by social group pressure on the last person, the marketer get all or most of the people in the group to make a positive public statement uh, about the design. The following section is advertising strategies. Marketers use all three types of reference group influence when developing advertisement. Um, Identification influence is based on the fact that an individual has internalized the group values and attitudes. The advertising task is to demonstrate that the product is consistent with the group and therefore the individual beliefs. This often involves showing the brand being used by a particular type of group, such as socially active young singles or parents of young children. For example, Good Mood used an image of a young rapper that is Gen Z to build the image of their product and to show that the drinks help them to refresh and say amazing good mood, like the trend of Gen Z recently saying amazing good job. So the next part is communication within a group and opinion leadership, which will be presented by my friend Wun An. Thank you.
Thank you, Tui, for your interesting presentation. Now, I'd like to discuss about our group communication and opinion leaders. First, we must understand how people communicate within groups. After identifying the needs, we often look for information about the products or services, as well as alternatives. We can get the information through a brand's website, advertising, or billboard. However, customers typically prefer to get information from our friends and other reference groups. This can be done by examining their experience or by seeking advice through word of mouth. Word of mouth refers to people verbally sharing information with others. Word of mouth from personal sources, such as family and friends, is more trusted than advertisement and can have significant impact on consumer decisions. People believe that there is no reason for these sources not to express their honest ideas and thoughts. Hence, they trust word of mouth more than the mass media. Furthermore, word of mouth is estimated to affect two-thirds of all consumers' product decisions. As this number illustrates, the value of word of mouth is generally strong. Negative experiences are potent motivators of word of mouth because they catch the attention of the customer more and can spread quickly. As a result, they may lead to loss of sale. For example, Hong Ngọc He, a Vietnamese singer, recently expressed her unfavorable experience buying at a Dior store due to inappropriate attitude of the employee. This story went viral on the internet and garnered a lot of controversy, the most of which was negative against this brand. However, not all personal word of mouth had the same value. Some people word of mouth are more trustworthy and have greater influence on consumer behavior. Those are the opinion leader. An opinion leader is someone who actively filters, interprets, and distributes product and brand information to their family and friends and colleagues. The process of opinion leader collect information from the mass media as well as other sources, present that information to other members of their groups, and then receive input from those members is the multi-step flow of communication. There are many key opinion leaders who are active on social media these days, particularly in the beauty and fashion industry. Marketers are increasingly focusing on promoting their products through these KOLs since it's less expensive and more effective than traditional advertising. Now let's move to the next part with Sue.
Hi teacher, my name is Sun and thank you Win for having introducing about the communications and I would like to talk about understand opinion leaders both online and offline and Lung will talk about the importance for marketer. So first of all, in the situation in which word of mouth and opinion leadership occur, And the exchange of advice and information between group members can occur directly in the form of word of mouth when one individual seeks information from another or one individual volunteers information. But on the other hand, it can also occur indirectly through observation, as by a product or of a normal group interaction. So this is a table of likelihood of seeking an opinion leader with the product knowledge on the vertical and the product and purchase information from the extent of high and low on the horizontal axis. And firstly, observation and direct word of mouth often operate together. For example, when you go to the market, you see your friends buying Sony A6000 camera, and you also want to have a digital camera, and there's some start conversation between you and your friend, and then you decided to buy this camera, this friend too, through your friend word of mouth. So does that affect a lot to the success of the brand? And the characteristics of opinion leaders are they are highly knowledgeable about the specific products or activities and are seen as a go-to person for a specific types of information. Also, opinion leaders actually filter, interpret, and provide product and brand relevant information to their family, friends, and colleagues. Especially their enduring involvement with the product categories lead to their expertise and the trust that people have in their opinion. So there are three types of opinion leaders. First of all, the market marines. They provide information on product quality, sales, user prices, and they are more extroverted and consensus to share information with others. And next is influentials. That they are the consumers, represent about 10% of the population, and have broad social media networks, and they allow them to influence the attitudes and behaviors to the other 90% of the population. And next is the influencers, and they represent about 10% of the adult online community, but their influence is more extensive than influencers since they share information, news to vast array of people both online and offline. Thank you. And now Long will talk about the next part of the marketing.
Hello, teacher. My name is Vĩnh Long, and after my friend Shun has talked about situation in which word of mouth and opinion leadership occur, the characteristic of opinion leader, I will continue that with marketing strategies, word of mouth, and opinion leadership. And my part will have four sections: advertising, product sampling, retailing or personal selling, and creating buzz. So let us move into the first part about advertising. It can be said that word of mouth and opinion leadership can be stimulated by advertising. To be more specific, it promotes word of mouth by generating enthusiasm and interest. It also enhances opinion leadership by having acknowledged opinion leader. An example of advertising use combination of word of mouth and opinion leadership is that Coca-Cola share Coke campaign in which they use KOL like Tom Raider to post a status with hashtag in his social media. Moreover, the product for this campaign also has the name of the initial customers with their friends and relatives, making it viral by sharing experience with each other and with the brand. And the next is about product sampling. Sampling or seeding is the practice of placing a sample of a product in the hands of a group of potential consumers. And when it comes with opinion leaders, sampling can be greatly effective word of mouth strategies. For instance, in spring, they use the KOL, which is the hot beauty blogger Jin Phạm, to use the sample of their products and share her thinking on her YouTube channel, making the brand be known by many fans of her and then purchasing Innisfree products. And the third section is retailing or personal selling. It could say that retailers and salespersonal have a variety of opportunities to use opinion leadership as a part of their campaigns, like the style advisor for the fashion brand or so on. And in terms of the word of mouth, it can encourage our consumers to share the information with potential new ones and earn referral rewards, which is a common storage using by many brands. Finally, the last section is about creating buzz. We know that the exponential expansion of word of mouth can be called as buzz, and it's occurs when words feel like wildfire with little or even no backing from mass media advertising. And an example of this is that the Poopery campaign for their restroom spray product with the funny and unique content. The marketing become viral and available in any social media, music videos, and then practice at that time. And this is also the end of my presentation. Next part is my friend Sung who will show you the next learning objective about diffusion of innovation.
Hello everyone, my name is Teo Hing and I am going to present the next learning objective, diffusion of innovations. Innovation is something that is seen as new. How much the innovation changes behaviors will differentiate three types of innovation. The first category is the continuous innovation. It makes little changes or unimportant changes. To illustrate, Lifebuoy has developed many smells but keeps the traditional soap. The second type is the dynamically continuous innovation. Moderate changes have occurred or big changes to behavior of moderate importance. Back to the example, traditional soap has evolved to liquid soap. An intrinsic feature has been changed. And the third category is the discontinuous innovation. The changes here is huge. About our example, if one day the liquid soap evolved into this portable soap wipes, it might change the face of soap. When given an innovation, customers might go through the adoption process and the decision making. It occurs with high involvement in the purchase of consumers. And high involvement? It usually is triggered by the discontinuous innovations. However, extended decision making is not always the reaction to all innovations. And next, I will present about diffusion process. Diffusion means spread. With is a rate of purchase with a hint of regularity. And what determines the time of diffusion process? It is the 10 factors that I will present now. The first is the type of group that buys the product. There are groups that are first buyers like innovators and adopters and others on the other extreme. This leads to the second factor, marketing effort. It is often targets the group that adopt easily, and usually the young. And the third factor is the type of decision. If there are many people involved in the purchase decision, diffusion will be slow. The next factors are the characteristics of innovations. An innovation will take off easily if it obviously fulfills the need of customers, like the oil bottle that comes with a massage tool, which helps customers with no tool at home. An innovation should not contrast with the beliefs of consumers, and moreover, it should be better than existing methods and easy to use. An innovation will be accepted if the effects is visible. Moreover, a trial is favorable. That is why cosmetics comes with trial size. And the final factor is the perceived risk. There are questions that I might think of. Will it not meet my expectation? What then? Am I able to overcome the consequences? If it's too risky, I will not buy the products. From this logic, it is probable that diffusion will be slow. And next, Hugh will present the characteristics of individuals in time. Thank you.
So I will continue to represent about link object 6, the characteristic of individual who adopt an innovation at a very point in time. And I'm like you, yeah. So the types of customer in the market diffusion process, including 5 members, is that 5 types, is that innovation. Innovator are the early bird customer, that is the first to adopt the new products. They do normally not represent more than 2.5% of population. They are venture some in nature and are prepared to run the risk of buying products that ultimately prove not to live up to their expectation, rather than missing the chance to try something new. And the second one is about the early adopter. Early adopter represent the next 13.5% of population to adopt the new products. At respect members of a community, they are likely to be opinion leaders for others who will only buy the products when it has been approved by the early adopters. And the third one is about the early maturity. The early maturity account for about 34% of the population, and this type of customer is more cautious of the new products than the earlier adopters. If they are exposed to sufficient information, they will follow the example of early adopters. The early maturity is an important target for firms who aim for taking the products from the introduction to the growth stage of the product life cycle. And the fourth one is the late maturity. The late maturity are the 34% of population who are more skeptical about new products and harder to pursue it. They place greater importance on the word of mouth recommendation than the media for to obtain information about the new products. And the final one is the laggards. The laggards are the last 16% of population economy groups. And these five types of customer can be placed on the product life cycle curve as illustrated below. You can see here. Yeah. And about the marketing implication of the market diffusion process. The market diffusion process is closely related to the product life cycle and can be used both as a mean of segmenting market and for suggesting appropriate market activities. Promoting to the average customer will be in effect unless the innovator and early adapter have experienced the product and are willing to recommend it. The marketing mix will need to change the recall as the product move through the segment of the market diffusion process. So this is the end of our presentation. Thank you for listening.